Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe at home. So guys, today we'll be talking about self-watering pots and what exactly they mean. Contrary to what the name implies, a self-watering pot does not actually water itself but does provide a consistent source of moisture to the plants growing in them and allows you to water less frequently. So what exactly are self-watering pots? Now guys, this pot has a small outlet and has a small reservoir at the bottom of the container. Now these pots are usually made out of plastic. All you have to do is pour in water into the outlet and the water will get collected in the reservoir at the bottom of the pot. These pots can hold water for several days and these pots can be great for plants that need to stay moist. Now these pots were initially designed for plants like African violets which like to have a little bit of moisture in their soil without letting water onto the leaves. Now if you take a look inside the pot, you'll notice that these are quite different from a regular pots. There are no drain holes but there are certain openings at the bottom of the pot. Now this is where the moisture or the water tends to get inside the pot and keeps the soil moist. So can I use these pots for succulents? Then the answer is no. Please don't use these pots for succulents because the whole purpose of these pots are to keep the soil moist. And you know guys, our succulents do not like moist soil. They need their soil to be dried completely before you start watering them again. So the type of plants that would do quite well in these pots are plants like syngoniums, pothos, caletheas, mirantas, petunias and other plants that tend to like slightly moist soil. So if you're thinking a self-watering pot and bottom watering is one and the same, then the answer is no. But guys, there is one thing that is common, that is the way the water enters into the pot. In both the methods, the water enters from the bottom and then reaches to the surface and thus making the entire soil in the pot moist. But guys, this is the only common thing. Apart from this, there is nothing common between both the methods. However, in self-watering pot, what happens is the reservoir is still attached to the container, to the pot, and in bottom watering we just immerse the pot into the shallow tray of water and thus making the entire soil wet. So in order to carry out bottom watering, all you need is a shallow tray. Fill that with water. The water should be less than half, and once you have filled that, it's very simple. All you need to do is place the pot in the shallow tray with water. Now guys, this will take a couple of minutes for the entire soil in the pot to get moist. So this is the only disadvantage, that this process of bottom watering tends to take some time as compared to top watering. But guys, you don't have to be worried. This is the most safest way to water your succulents, or even if you're propagating leaves of succulents, this is the best method to use, because in this the water does not fall onto the leaves and hence there is no problem with rotting of leaves. So guys, the best part about bottom watering is the root system becomes much stronger, and now because every time the water tends to enter from the bottom, the plant tends to send its roots much deeper into the soil, making the plant even more stronger. So guys, I always prefer to do bottom watering, but at times it becomes difficult to do bottom watering, and at times we tend to do watering from above. Now this is a very common thing. Most of us tend to water our plants from above. But the only problem with top watering is many a times what happens is the water tends to come onto the leaves, and this can be a problem. Now here you can see this leaf is slightly discolored because often when I tend to do an watering from above, the water does get collected in that leaf and you can see how that leaf is starting to get discolored. So if I was doing bottom watering for this particular pot, then the leaf wouldn't have got damaged like this, because in bottom watering the water never tends to fall onto the leaves or does not get collected into the leaves. But in this case you can see the water has got stuck onto the leaves, and due to which the leaf will start to rot eventually, or initially at least it will start turning yellow. But there is another problem as well with top watering. Now guys, usually what happens are drain holes can can get choked or can get blocked with pebbles, thus making it difficult to drain out water. Now that is one of the issue that happens with top watering. However, in bottom watering as well, there is one problem, that is if your pot is quite heavy or if you have a very large pot, it will be difficult to do bottom watering. So guys, in both the methods there are some pros and there are some cons. Now in this, the only issue is that the water might get stuck if your drain hole is blocked, but otherwise top watering is good because it saves you much of time as compared to bottom watering. In bottom watering, it takes around 5 to 10 minutes for the entire pot or entire soil to get wet. Now it also depends upon the size of pot. If it's a larger pot, it will take much more time, but it is one of the safest way to water your plants. So guys, it's very important to have a well draining soil, especially if you're doing top watering, because guys, if your drain hole is blocked or if there is a poor drainage in your pot, then your succulent might end up sitting in a pool of water, which can be dangerous to your succulent. Now what happens is, when your succulent is sitting in water for a very long time, the roots might get rotted. Now guys, in a small pot, it's much easier to clear blockage because all you have to do is just pick up the pot and then just clear the blockage. But it might turn out to be a task if your pot is heavy. Then it will be very difficult to clear those blockage from the drain hole. So it's always advisable that you put some kind of pebbles at the bottom of the pot, or you can use a net at the bottom of the pot so that it does not come in between the drain hole and block the drain hole. So guys, recently I had a question on Facebook from one of my friend that his succulent is not doing quite well. It's always dehydrated and it's not growing quite well. However, he said that his soil was well draining, yet his succulent was having issues. So guys, here is the issue. When he shared the photograph of the soil content looked somewhat like this, and whenever he watered the succulent pot, the water used to immediately leave the pot, giving an illusion that the soil is well draining. Now even after all this, the thumb rule remains the same, that the soil has to be well draining. Everything was going correct, the soil was well draining, but still his succulents were getting dehydrated and were not growing healthy. So was this a well draining soil or it was just an illusion? We will take a look at that. So guys, if you take a closer look, you can see that the soil is very compact, the soil is very tight. Now because the soil has become so compact, it has left the gaps in between the edges of the pot. Now that's where the water used to pass through, making it look like that the soil is well draining. However, the soil was not well draining. The soil has to be porous, the soil has to be loose. Now when we turn around the pot, you can see how compact the soil has become. Now guys, in this type of soil, the succulent will not able to grow, because this soil is going to suffocate the roots and will not let the succulent grow, or will not let the succulent absorb any water. In fact, most of the plants will not be able to grow in this type of soil unless they have a very strong roots that can break this soil apart. So guys, it's very important that you notice that the soil has to be porous and not like this. In this case, the water used to pass through those edges, giving it an illusion that the soil is well draining. However, the soil was very bad. Now the soil was bad because guys, it had a high quantity of clay in it, due to which the soil became so compact that the succulent roots were not able to absorb any water. Hence, they always looked dehydrated even after he used to water it. So guys, always make sure that the soil is well draining, but also make sure that the soil is porous and loose. So guys, for bottom watering, you can find these shallow trays online. The bigger the tray, the much better, because you can accommodate more pots and that can make your work much easy. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. Now I apologize, I don't have self-watering pots because majority of my plants are succulents and I cannot use these pots for my succulents. But guys, I wanted to make this video because a lot of people were planning to buy self-watering pots for succulents. So I just wanted to hurry and make this video so that they don't end up wasting money buying these self-watering pots for succulents, because it's not going to work out for succulents. However guys, if you still want to go ahead and buy these pots because you like the look of the pot, you want to keep your succulent in such pots, it's absolutely fine, you can go ahead, but ensure that you do not add any water into the reservoir below. Now guys, I know that is the main feature of the self-watering pot, and if you're not going to make use of that, it's actually waste of money. But if that makes you happy by keeping your succulent in that kind of pot, it's absolutely your choice, there is nothing wrong with that. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please consider subscribing to my channel. Until then guys, take care, stay safe, bye bye.